The clairvoyance of being press is limited, and so we rely on press releases. This week, regarding actual gaming news things, is going to be quiet. And that's mainly because PAX East is this week's end, and basically the only thing every company's saying is, we're going to be at PAX, and that's it. So, generally, there isn't really that much going on besides PAX. There might be a few announcements going on. There's a few announcements going on preemptively, which is what we're going to go into now. Could be a fairly quiet week. The first bit of news we got is that Farming Simulator 18 is coming out for the Vita and the DS this summer in June 2017. It literally is just a port of Farming Simulator 18 for the Vita and DS. It's basically just a mobile port. And another soon to be coming out newsy things is that the Quake Champions game, the Quake kind of adaptation, basically the re-release, the re-update, the re-release update of the Quake multiplayer, has a closed beta announcement trailer. And so the closed beta is, you can sign up for the closed beta practice run thing now. And in one bit of this week to be released news that is coming out on Friday, if I remember correctly, is Lego Worlds is coming out on Friday. Some people will go, yeah, so, but I like Lego. I like Lego, and so this game is going to be very fun. It's a Lego game, but it's a Lego game where you can build stuff in Lego digitally. It's great, rather than having to have the whole messy thing of having to buy Legos or having Legos. You can have Lego things. Ever since I played Lego Island, I have been wanting to have like adventures in Legos, in Land of Legos and things, which is part of the reason why I love the Lego games. So this is partly just for my enjoyment of going Lego Worlds is coming up on Friday. And in game dev news, we have a release that a new independent publishing firm has arisen. As it says here, French distribution company Plug-in Digital today announced the creation of a new independent game publishing label called Playdius, which will focus on publishing and marketing indie games across all platforms. First stop for the new label is PAX East 2017, where it will showcase 6 uniquely exciting indie games for fans and press to get their hands on. Then, as a little bit for the PAX East people who are going to PAX East, fans and journalists are invited to stop by our booth at number 11124 to check out Neurovoider, Papaku, A Normal Lost Phone, SU and the Quest for Meaning, Away and Striker's Edge. So, if you are going to PAX East, you can get your hands on games that are being published by a brand spanking new publisher based out in France. And when they say they're coming out on all platforms, they really do mean all platforms. It's Xbox One, PlayStation 4, PC and the Switch. So it literally is all format. With it being PAX East and with most people going, what's going on at PAX East? We're not going to PAX East. It's in Boston. And so Boston, America, Boston, not Boston in the Midlands. But I have had a look at the scheduling for the 3 days. And I have chosen a few things that I would go to if I was there, because you may be interested as well. First, on the Friday from 11 in the morning to 2 in the afternoon is a tabletop tournament for Carcassonne. I like Carcassonne. It's one of the board games I actually play. Kind of like the Lego Worlds thing. I would go there just because I like Carcassonne. Probably not in the tournament. I'm a bit crap. Also on the Friday from 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock is a panel called Does the Author Intend to Matter in Video Games? It's talking about the intuitions and the insinuations that are created from video games from the writer's perspective and from the player's perspective. It's how writers want their work to be perceived, but it's also how writers' works are perceived by the players. Then there's another one on the Friday from 1:30 till 2:30, which is being an artist in the game industry and how to get there. Basically just artistry and how do you break out into the video game industry as an artist. This is one for the sort of nerdy gaming types like myself, which is the Awesome Video Game Data 2017. It's basically just EDA is just going through their numbers for video games and things. The UKIE are also doing something next week, I think it's next week, talking about the UK video numbers. So there's going to be a lot of the video number analysis and all that sort of stuff is going to be coming out this week, next week, from all of the local groups. This is just the EDA numbers. Then there is one which I am going to presume is sponsored by Harmonix, because there's only 2 panelists and they're both from Harmonix. It's called It Feels So Good, the Ergonomics of Virtual Reality Games. And this is something that's very, very important for the upcoming virtual reality industry, is that ergonomics is now something you have to genuinely think about. It's not just something of button setup on a controller or anything like that. The actual physical ergonomics of moving around in a virtual or AR space. Moving on to the Saturday, there's one called Going Retro in 2017, The Challenges of Yesterday and Today, which isn't necessarily about retro games, it's retro styled games that come out that have the pixel style and all sorts of stuff. It's games that are designed now that are distinctly retro. Think Shovel Knight and such, because there has been a boom in sort of the retro styled games of late, and there is an actual style to it. Just making it pixely does not mean it is retro styled. Then there is this one, Nostalgia, an Enemy to Progress, which is a talk. I'm kind of interested in this one, it's a talk on the elements of nostalgia of when we look back nostalgically, sort of blindly, towards the past part of the industry. With the way that it's worded, it says, but appealing to nostalgia in game development runs the risks of underrepresenting, offending, or excluding marginalised players. I look at retro games in the past a lot more from a technical standpoint of how things have moved on from then till now, because there are points of boom and points of specific advancement. If you look from SD to HD or 2D to 3D, there is those points of advantage. So I look at it much more from a technical standpoint rather than a sociological standpoint, because I'm a writer. It's because I go from everything from a much more of a writing perspective, and which is a lot more of a liquid perspective than going old is underrepresentative or anything like that. It's I view things as a lot more in the area of very deep grey rather than otherwise. Very much important for today's sort of internet industries of the audacity of Hype 4, social media on blast. It's basically talking about the power that social media has and connected to hype. Because if you have been paying attention to the major releases of the last couple of years, you will notice that hype is a giant pile of dick, because people hype it up on social media online and go, it is going to be fantastic and great, and it's never going to live up to the hype. So things like this are going to be very, very fascinating, partly for me, but I think it's also going to be fascinating for other people as well. This is going to be one that fascinates me personally, which is inner demons, anxiety and depression in gamers. The anxiety that video game people in the industry, as well as players and consumers and all various things like that, isn't that different to everyone else who doesn't play video games but gets anxiety and depression. So, but it's also very interesting to hear the outlets. That's always been the fascinating thing. And so having a panel that has industry guests share their mental health stories and strategies to beat them back is going to be a fascinating one. And it's going to be a relatively interesting one. If you have anxiety or depression or anything like that, that's actually going to be a very interesting one to actually listen to. Then there is this one, which is I am going to promote the high hell +1 to journalism, becoming a better writer. As many people would have noticed, I have been rallying against the sort of negative viewpoints that people have against journalism and things like that, and sort of the press and the journalistic industry of late. So I would say that this is one for industry people to go to. If you're people, especially in people like my position, who talk about video games as their day-to-day, as their job, then go to this. There's a lot of people I respect on this one, namely Susan Arndt. She's one that I recognise that one straight away. I've known about her since she was the editor-in-chief of The Escapist. So, yeah, go to this one. Even if you're in the press industry, go to this one. That important one. Go to this one. And as it is the beginning of the week, it is time to go through the Chart Track weekly charts once again. given to us by UKIE Limited. It's a very interesting week because in the number 1 position we have Horizon Zero Dawn, a Sony exclusive. Number 2 we have Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, a Nintendo exclusive. GTA 5 refuses to go out of the top 3, remaining at number 3. But then number 4 is 1-2 Switch, an exclusive for the Nintendo. So 3 out of the top 5 in the UK charts are specific console exclusives. And this is the all format chart. And so we have a Sony exclusive and a Nintendo exclusive beating out Grand Theft Auto 5, which is available for every single platform minus the Wii U and the Switch. That is a hell of a showing, and that shows some supreme numbers. And here are the games that are going to be released this week. We have Little Cells for Android Online, Revelation Online for PC Online, Nier Automata for PS4, Lightspeed Frontier for PC, RPS Knights for Android and iOS, Talisman Digital Edition for PS4 and PS Vita, Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Wildlands for PC, PS4 and Xbox One, Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 for PC and Xbox One, Unearthing Mars for PS4, Ghostblade HD for PC, Shardlight for iOS, Sub-Level Zero Redux for PS4 and Xbox One, Subsiege for PC, Verdun for Xbox One Online, Acrosplat for Android and iOS, Dream City Idols for Android and iOS, Superbet Studio for iOS, Avatron for PC Online, Lego Worlds for PC, PS4 and Xbox One, and Tabletop Racing World Tour for Xbox One. I hope you found this episode informative. If you did, consider subscribing to not miss a show. The show comes out every Tuesday and every Friday, so make sure you tune in. And share it around if you liked it as well. So, thank you for watching, and I will see you on Friday for the next Press Rush.